up, everybody? Today I'm joined by SugarBeats, and we're gonna kick it hard in the furry room. You guys ready to do this shit?
Ready.
Count us in,
yeah.
baby.
5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ill Communication. I'm your host, ill.Gates, and today we have two very special guests in the studio, SugarBeats.
What's up, guys?
Been killing the mid-tempo glitch hop game really hard. All kinds of amazing nominations at the UK Glitch Hop Awards, as well as big remixes for the likes of Mochi Pets recently. And they just dropped a fantastic album and managed to come by the studio today to tell me about this new project that they're working on right now, which you can fund at their Kickstarter page. So can you guys tell us a little bit about, like, you know, your musical evolution and what you're trying to do with this new record and the Kickstarter project?
Yeah, I mean, we started out very experimental and really just trying to do something different. And not gonna lie, it started out a little weird and, you know, unique,
Out there,
but a little
for
out
sure.
there. But that's how it always starts. And we're still just trying to find something new, but we've definitely kind of finally found our niche as far as synth design and instrumentation and the vocals that we're writing and mainly the tempos that we're working in. We're just trying to do something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we finally nailed in the feeling we were going for in the beginning, which is like really kind of complex. So in the beginning, a lot of experimentation to figure out what we were even trying to do.
Cool. So is there like a moment where, you know, things really kind of locked into place where you guys were like, hey, you know, this is it. This is that thing that, like, you know, when you guys really found your voice. Can you tell us a little bit about, like, what was like?
The very first song that we wrote lyrics to was Down to the Science featuring M. Harris. And she's a local musician and songwriter that we went to school with. And that was, like, the first song that we wrote vocals to after we got into electronic music. And people were just so into it. It was just kind of insane. And after that, we decided to do vocals on every song of our new EP, Groove City Romance, which was our last release with Adapted Records, our last full release. And ever since then, like, that was like when people were like, who are these guys? And like really started to appreciate our music. And it wasn't just like a random person here and there that was like, oh, this is a cool song. It was like, oh, these guys have their own sound. And I think that was when we really finally started to, like, have something that we were proud of to put out there, you know.
Super cool. So you guys were writing a lot of lyrics before and doing your own raps on your songs. And now you're more writing lyrics for these other session musicians and everything. Do you see a point where you would begin to do vocals on your records, you know, where you're writing lyrics for yourself on the album? Or is it going to be mostly like you're producing session musicians? Or
Well, funny enough, the song we just finished, which is going to be on the album, we're working with vocoder for the first time, actually, ourselves. So just kind of like experimental placeholder, and then ended up sounding like really good, so we're going to do that. And we just got a talk box too, which we haven't gotten to practice much with and figure out the workflow of how we're going to use it. But we're almost thinking of doing like some sort of robot, you know, funky love.
Robot love, baby.
Future.
nice.
Future expeditions into that.
Yeah.
So.
And neither of our voices, I mean, some people tell us they like them, but like, we don't really like,
We're pretty critical.
We're very, very critical. And when we're producing, like, if there's something that I don't like, I'm like, oh, let's change this. If there's something he doesn't like, he's like, let's change this. And we always
meet at a compromise.
Yeah, it's kind of like a team OCD.
Nice.
So we end up with the best possible art
And,
by kind of
yeah.
chiseling from both sides.
Especially because there's so many vocalists out there that we consider to be very talented, and it's like there are a lot of small time people in our town and friends, and we're like, well, there's no point to push us when we feel like they're definitely above us and they need a little push. So it's nice to be able to help them out. You know?
I feel like to be a really good vocalist, it's kind of like you gotta pursue it like as your main thing.
It's an
you know, like getting really good at anything. You know, if you want to get good at production, you can't be like, oh yeah, you know, but I'm really like, you know, graphic design is my main focus, you know, or like whatever. You gotta put the time in, you know, you gotta really.
Totally.
I think that's where these crowdfunding platforms are so cool, you know, because like a lot of musicians, like when people started, you know, downloading all the music for free and everything, it became like, well, hey, you're not paid for your content anymore.
Right.
You know, you're only really paid for live shows or for you know, teaching or your, you know, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of artists fall into this trap where you're almost like just like managing a social media experiment rather than actually writing.
Totally.
You know?
Music.
So I think it's really cool that you guys are like, you know, focusing on this Kickstarter project, you know, and I think like, you know, $5,000 is pretty reasonable amount of money to raise.
Especially
you
these
know,
days, yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go chip in.
I appreciate
it. It'll be worth it for sure. So yeah, it was really fun jamming with you guys. I really enjoyed like, you know, throwing it down in the furry room a minute ago. How like when you guys are jamming together and you're writing a track, like what's the process look like? Like, you know, where does it start? How does it develop?
Well, we almost always start with a progression, just because that's how we're minded. And like for me, if you started with a progression, that's where the melodies, the hooks, the lyrics start to pop into your head.
Yeah.
But if you start with a solid progression, good bass line, you know, like that's tied into it. Like it's just a solid base to go from.
And it's a lot easier to come up with the melodies and, you know, the bass lines and all the harmonies to the progression rather than like writing a bass line or writing a melody and trying to
chords
add that back in, because we're really about like just like big chords and you know the feeling behind the song, and the progression gives a lot of feeling behind the song more than just specific melodies. They have huge play in it, but the melodies kind of tie into the progressions usually, and that gives us like a really like team vibe to be able to like, no matter who writes the progression, we both sit down and write the vocals together. So it's like we both write some progressions here and there, then we both write the vocals together and then kind of build the song around that. And it's like we always kind of just do like drums with the progression, like started out really simple as if it's not even going to be like an electronic song, and then kind of get the vocals in there and everything, because we like to chop the vocals into the verses and
it's almost
the
like
drops.
remixing ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of leaves all the options open until the final product is there.
Cool. So do you have like different strengths, like different areas that are kind of like your domain in the partnership?
I'd say I'm more like detail oriented and kind of like inward, and then he's more like outward and big picture
and workflow.
Yeah. So like
he gets stuck, I push him forward.
We're like polar opposites almost,
exactly.
actually. So we're all like yin yang. Like we totally work.
And when we
together
started, we were like very much so like opposites, and we filled in each other's gaps, and we've slowly been more and more like, you know, kind of integrating ourselves into each
we borrow
position
from each other and
so
teach
like,
each other like in different skill sets. So it's kind of really nice.
It's definitely a growing process of like we're finally getting to that point where like we both have both sides of it now, you know.
Cool.
But yeah, as an artist these days, there's so much you have to do beyond just music, like social media, keeping track of emails, like, you know, business and all that. Like to tie that all together for one person without a manager,
it's definitely
insane.
tough. Yeah.
So to have that to like, oh, I can't get to this right now, can you do this? Like it means the world, really. It's so much easier.
Yeah, it's great to have the other person to be able to like, if I'm out of town doing something, I'm like, oh, can you take care of those emails and those contracts really quick, you know, and vice versa. So it's definitely good to have each other.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So as far as the like you know, the non-human elements of SugarBeats, can you tell us a little bit about like you know, what kind of plugins you're using and what kind of hardware you find that really, you know, has helped you?
Well, I'd say plugin wise, we've just started using Serum a lot, which is pretty new. Yeah.
Good stuff.
And we're pretty much going to use that for a lot of the new album that the Kickstarter's for, because it's so... I mean, just for me, it's exciting because I've just barely started touching like the sound design, bass-wise, especially in there, and I'm like, damn, like it's really powerful.
Definitely good.
So I'm really excited about that.
Silent for chords a lot.
Use
really
a lot
like
of silent, yeah.
And Zebra and Razor were kind of our go-tos in the near past, and now we're kind of just Serum's definitely.
And Massive, but we hardly ever use Massive for basses anymore because it has that very distinct sound.
Yeah.
So we like do like leads and risers because I love like the macros.
And it's easy.
So easy to use.
Yeah,
And yeah, we know it like backwards and forwards. So that's always the go-to.
As far as gear, we both rock just a laptop. I got an APC 40 and he's got an MPD 32 for our live shows. We both have MIDI Fighter 3Ds and launch pads and
love that.
MIDI keyboards. And I have a full 88 key Yamaha that I practice piano on a lot.
Cool.
We're definitely working towards a bigger live show. Right now, we're kind of just focused on our album and getting our music done before we start spending all our time on the live show. But for our next full-length album that the Kickstarter is actually for, when we come out with that, we're trying to somewhat write it in a way that we can have more going on. Like I told you earlier, I ordered the Roland AX synth guitar. I want to kind of integrate that. We want to get Luke like a crazy MIDI fighter strap neck thing so he can do some like crazy like finger drumming while I'm doing some like solos on the guitar and stuff. But it's all, it's all a slow process. It's all a very...
Yeah, we don't want to jump the gun, and especially with bringing up vocalists and saxophone, trumpet, guitar players, you can't really tour unless you're able to afford it. With,
exactly.
Having a full team.
Exactly.
So we're taking it one step at a time and trying to build the demand.
And last weekend we actually had one of our first shows with, not the first, but one of the first with live vocals.
Two of them.
And it was only 3 songs out of the whole set that the vocalist came out and did it for Hannah Miller, who did Pretty Young Things, which is one of our biggest songs, and Veronica Rockstar. They came out, and it was like the energy at the show is just like, it was a great show the whole time. Everybody's getting down, but when they come out and just give that live feeling to them, even though we're back there just derping around with our buttons and whatnot.
Singing along to the chorus.
Yeah, it gives that like way bigger vibe to the show. That's just like, it not only feels like it's better for them, but for us, it's like we get way more into it. It's way more of an exciting
feels
adventure.
like there's more of a unity between the crowd, the performers, and less of a barrier between, the crowd and the stage.
Yeah. Kind of like your video with your finger drumming. Like, it's awesome to be out there and see what you're doing out there. Like, we haven't gotten to that point, but they can see these vocalists working with us and soon playing instruments and whatnot. So
and connect in that way.
We're just expanding.
So you guys made a really sick sound pack video for DJ Tech Tools the other day. I was really like, I thought that was pretty tight, and the little routine that you had for it was really dope, man. Like,
pretty basic, but
it's clean though. It was clean.
Yeah,
the video came off nice. Do you have plans for making more sound packs?
Definitely.
Is that going to be a part of your live show?
Eventually, we don't know how or like where to balance, because it can be so much like so live or kind of tied in. So we're still trying to figure that out, but eventually, we do. And
seeing what you were doing too, kind of give an idea.
I don't even know. You were pulling wizardry. We can't talk about it, but it was
some top secret shit.
Mind blown. So if we can get towards that a little bit. You seem to have worked it out really well.
I'm still experimenting. Man.
Sure.
I was up till 5 in the morning last night, just
it's
fucking
a long road. No, it's so inspiring though, and I'm just like, wow, you just like broke the matrix basically for me. So it's cool to see and just to know that there's no boundaries. And what was the first part of that question though?
I do have plans on making more sound packs, because I thought your sound pack was great, man. Like the sound of it was great. It was really fun to play, and it's in like the kind of classic format, and it was just really easy to deal with as far as sound packs are concerned.
We definitely do. It's just kind of when we can fit it in. Like the Kickstarter and the album is really taking up a lot of time right now. We want to
for sure.
So if we can, we want to kind of tie that end off before summer, so that we all these shows and festivals and whatnot,
But DJ Tech Tools did hit us up asking for more, and so we love to like give back to the community in that way,
and it's fun for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
We'd love to check them out. We're actually thinking maybe of doing like a two bank.
duel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you
So
can
that we
play
can
with someone as a duo,
Nice.
and
Yeah,
then you
that's
can
fun.
swap banks or whatever, or you could play the bank alone and just change. So that could be
Or
cool
too many
too.
fighters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
You're a
what.
boss.
Yeah, that's
Boom.
what. Two,
Yeah.
two, one, two
Yeah.
hands, one person.
Yeah.
Super sweet. Super sweet. Okay, cool. So, just like you know, I mean, you guys have definitely come a long way really quick. You know, you've gone over the hump to the point where you guys are like doing music all the time. You're doing shows all the time. You got this new record and everything, and you really like you managed to like, you know, bootstrap it up and pull yourself out of the quagmire of like wanting to do things, and you've crossed the hump into actually doing them.
Right.
Is there anything that you would like tell your past selves, or any like piece of advice that you could give people to help them like get over that hump?
Don't make a full length album as your second release. That's a good. That's a good one.
And don't release everything you make too.
Yeah. We have a lot of stuff that we've just straight deleted from our SoundCloud, even though they're like official releases, just because we're like some people really like that, but
You're not those people.
we're not those people.
Not anymore. No.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Weird tempos and weird time signatures. It's like it's
changes.
cool if you're Bill Bless.
Yeah.
It's kind of like three
or
different
Mr.
songs
Bill.
in one.
If
you
you're
know?
a Bill at all.
Any kind of bill. Yeah.
If you're any kind of Bill.
But yeah, I mean, it's really, as far as like not just the music itself, I would say like like you said, it's, you know, people get stuck in the social media world and don't do anything else, but it's definitely an important part.
Oh yeah.
Of everything.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
huge.
Getting
and like
it out there. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, really just kind of pushing that and on all platforms, and like not necessarily trying to do everything yourself. Like if you can find someone to help, like just having an agent, for instance, for booking,
Huge.
it's just like, oh, you don't have to do all these emails and contracts and send all this stuff all the time. It's like that's great. And our agent Adam is like, he's one of the coolest guys ever. So it's
great.
we're really thankful to have him on board. And we've been offered management, but we're kind of just like, for now, as financially, we're kind of just like, we can carry the load for the time being. We're definitely getting to the point where we're going to need someone kind of jumping in. But I think, yeah, just from the beginning, just kind of spread things out and use those tools as well as possible, you know.
Cool.
And on a personal note, I would probably tell myself, don't be so serious and love yourself and others more. That
Yeah,
Cool.
you can't go wrong with
no,
that.
you don't.
No, that's definitely
And I
definitely solid.
definitely needed to hear it back then.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's tough getting into it. The beginning is the hardest part. You're like, am I ever gonna get anywhere?
Yeah, and your friends are like, yeah, y'all need to
Cool,
be a
you're-
little more realistic right now. You know,
Yeah,
like
right.
I don't know. I'm like, you know, taking statistics exams and shit,
Yeah,
and you're
they're
like
you're
partying
going
all
to
the time,
school
and
for music and
yeah, they're like, you know.
Yeah,
but-
is this going anywhere? Or
yeah, it's tough, man.
There are
And you got to be
always those
ready
that
to
don't
be poor
believe
for a
in you.
while too. You know?
Oh,
Yeah, you
gotta
do.
be
Still-
ready to be
still
definitely
poor.
Yeah,
Still
you
and it's
definitely
hard
gotta
to
be ready.
balance the partying and the work partying.
Yeah,
You're like, your friends are like, oh, we're having a party. You're like, dude, I've partied the last 2 nights in a row in different cities.
Yeah.
Like, I need to sleep. You know?
totally.
I say I need to make music.
But
So-
that's why it's nice living in a small town too.
Yeah, I
It's
love Ashland.
Not,
Oh,
not
yeah.
too many
Just being able to, like, hone in and not have people trying to get you to come out and rage all the time. You're like, oh, I can actually get things done and go party elsewhere.
Yeah,
You know?
cool.
And so anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, word. Well, hey, thank you guys so
Yeah,
much for
thank you.
dropping
Yeah,
by.
man.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to support the Kickstarter, support the new record. I'm very, very curious and enthusiastic to hear what you guys come up with.
Awesome.
Much
Appreciate
love.
it.
Thank
Big
you,
love.
brother.
Thank you guys
Awesome,
all for
yeah.
watching. Any parting words, shout outs, anything like that?
Also, yeah, you can find all our social media at SugarBeatsMusic.com as well as the Kickstarter. So, you know, no need to name them all off, but SugarBeats Music and SugarBeatsMusic.com, you'll find everything. Thanks so much, guys.
All right,
you.
lots of love, everyone. Peace out.
Peace.